I will give you exact science, research-based, and accurate real tips about your health for free. You are spending money every month on bronchodilators, expectorants, antihistamines, respiratory supplements, and cough medications that cost $20, $30, $50, while something that costs $1 and has been used as the world's primary respiratory medicine across China, India, and the Middle East for 3,000 years has now been validated by modern clinical research to open constricted airways, break down and expel the mucus accumulation that makes breathing difficult, and chronic respiratory conditions progressively worse, inhibit the influenza virus through the same molecular mechanism as oseltamivir, the prescription antiviral sold as Tamiflu, and reduce the airway inflammation that makes every respiratory condition from asthma to COPD to chronic bronchitis more severe with every year after 45. People over 45 are spending money on inhalers that cause tremors and heart palpitations, on antihistamines that cause cognitive fog and dry mouth, and on expectorants that thin mucus without addressing the inflammation and viral susceptibility driving its overproduction. While a $1 spice contains transanethol, quercetin, and the shikimic acid that pharmaceutical companies extract from star anise at enormous cost to manufacture Tamiflu, and that work directly on the respiratory mucosa, the airway smooth muscle, and the viral replication machinery to produce results that every one of those products is individually trying to achieve. Today, I am going to show you exactly what happens when you drink star anise tea every night after 45. But first, hold this question. If star anise contains the same molecule that Tamiflu is derived from, opens airways the way bronchodilators do, and clears mucus the way expectorants claim to, for $1, what has your respiratory treatment budget actually been paying for all this time? I am Dr. Christine Rodriguez, and this is Men's Vitality Hub. This channel exists to give seniors like you affordable, authentic knowledge about your health, so you can take care of yourself, manage every condition you face, and find the right guidance for your specific situation without spending more than you have to. Real biology, real solutions. No trends, no expensive products. Just honest science that puts your health back in your own hands. Now let me tell you exactly what happens inside your body when you drink star anise tea every single night. 3 things change, and by the time I finish describing all 3, you will understand why this one nightly habit does more for your lung health, your airway function, and your respiratory immunity than most of what your pharmacy shelf has ever offered you. The first thing that happens is your airways begin to open. Star anise contains transanethol, the primary bioactive compound that gives star anise its distinctive licorice aroma, and that has documented bronchodilatory activity in the smooth muscle of the bronchial airways. Transanethol acts on the beta-2 adrenergic receptors in bronchial smooth muscle, the same receptors that bronchodilator inhalers activate to relax airway muscle and open constricted breathing passages. When airway smooth muscle relaxes through beta-2 receptor stimulation, the internal diameter of the bronchial tubes increases. Air flows with less resistance. The sensation of tightness in the chest reduces, and the shallow, restricted breathing that airway constriction produces gradually deepens and normalizes. For people over 45 whose airways have been narrowing progressively from chronic inflammation, from the loss of lung elasticity that aging produces, from the accumulated effects of years of airway exposure to pollutants, irritants, and allergens, the nightly beta-2 bronchodilatory activity of transanethol provides the airway relaxation that expensive inhalers deliver through the same receptor pathway, without the tremors, heart palpitations, and cardiovascular side effects that synthetic beta-2 agonists produce with regular use. The second thing that happens is the mucus that has been accumulating in your airways and sinuses begins to move. Mucus is not the problem. It is the body's protective mechanism for trapping airborne particles, pathogens, and irritants before they reach the delicate alveolar tissue of the lungs. The problem is when mucus production is excessive, when its consistency is too thick to be moved by the cilia lining the airway, or when the mucociliary clearance mechanism that sweeps mucus out of the airways toward the throat for elimination is impaired by inflammation or dehydration. Star Anise tea addresses all three simultaneously. Its volatile oils, particularly anethole and feniculin, stimulate the goblet cells that produce mucus to reduce their secretion rate, thinning mucus at the production source. Its expectorant activity, documented in traditional and modern research, increases the water content of bronchial secretions, making thick, sticky mucus more fluid and easier for cilia to transport. And its anti-inflammatory compounds reduce the airway inflammation that impairs ciliary function, restoring the mucociliary clearance mechanism that healthy lungs use to keep airways clean continuously, without conscious effort. The morning after the first night of Star Anise tea, most people notice that their overnight congestion clears more easily, and that the first breaths of the morning feel less obstructed than usual. The third thing that happens is your respiratory immune defense begins strengthening against the viral infections that become more frequent and more severe after 45. Star Anise contains shikimic acid, the exact compound that Roche Pharmaceuticals extracts from star anise through a multi-step synthetic process to produce oseltamivir phosphate, the active ingredient in Tamiflu. Shikimic acid inhibits neuraminidase, the enzyme that influenza viruses and other respiratory viruses use to replicate within airway cells and spread from cell to cell. By inhibiting neuraminidase, shikimic acid prevents viral replication before it reaches the level that produces the systemic illness of influenza, reducing both the likelihood of infection after exposure and the severity and duration of illness if infection occurs. Star anise also contains quercetin, documented antiviral activity against rhinovirus and coronavirus strains, and transanethol, with direct antimicrobial activity against the bacterial respiratory pathogens causing secondary pneumonia after viral infection. 3 changes, 1 tea, $1. Now let me show you exactly how to get all 3. If you are serious about taking care of your health after 45, this video is for you. And here is exactly what you are going to get from it. First, I have shown you the 3 things happening inside your body when you drink Star Anise tea every night. Know these before you begin, because understanding the biology is what makes you consistent. Second, 3 exact methods, step by step, precise quantities, precise timing, a protocol you can follow starting tonight. Third, the science, the mechanism, the research. So you are not taking my word for it. This is not a video you watch and forget. Write down the methods and begin tonight. Stay for every section. Each one builds on the one before it. Here's the commitment I am making to you today. Follow the 3 methods I am going to give you with complete consistency for 7 days. Just 7 days. And here's what that week looks like. By day 1 or 2, faster than most things in this playlist, chest tightness and difficulty taking a full, deep breath begin easing. Transanethol's bronchodilatory effect begins within hours, and the first night, most people notice sleep coming more easily as airway restriction relaxes. By day 3 or 4, overnight nasal and chest congestion begins reducing as mucolytic activity accumulates and morning clearance becomes easier. By day 5 or 6, respiratory energy improves. Clearer head, better sleep, improved physical stamina from the better oxygen delivery that open airways enable. 7 days, starting tonight. One more thing before the methods. Right now, make one decision. You are going to buy whole Star Anise pods today. Whole dried star anise pods, the beautiful 8-pointed star-shaped spice available at any grocery store, Asian market, South Asian spice shop, or online for $1 per large quantity. Do not buy star anise extract, star anise oil capsules, or anise seed. Anise seed is a different plant with a similar flavor, but a different compound profile. Whole star anise pods, dried, $1. Tonight is your first cup, so let me show you exactly how to use star anise. Step by step, precise quantities, exact timing. The first method is star anise tea every night before bed. This is the foundational daily method, and the nighttime timing is not arbitrary. Respiratory inflammation, airway smooth muscle tone, and mucus viscosity all follow a circadian rhythm. They are at their worst in the late evening and overnight hours, which is why respiratory symptoms are consistently worse at night, and why respiratory conditions like asthma produce their most severe attacks between 2 and 4 in the morning. Delivering star anise's bronchodilatory and anti-inflammatory compounds precisely at the window when the airways are at their most constricted and inflamed is the timing that produces the most measurable overnight respiratory relief. Here is exactly how to prepare it. Every night, 30 minutes after your last meal, take 2 to 3 whole star anise pods and place them in a cup. Add 1 cup of boiling water. Cover the cup immediately. This is essential because transanethol is a volatile compound that evaporates rapidly from an uncovered cup, and you must trap the steam to retain the bronchodilatory compounds in the tea rather than losing them into the air. Allow the pods to steep covered for 10 full minutes. After 10 minutes, lift the cover, add 1 teaspoon of raw honey, and drink slowly over 5 minutes while the steam is still rising from the cup. The steam itself delivers transanethol directly to the airway mucosa through inhalation as you drink, providing both the topical bronchodilatory effect from inhaled anethol and the systemic effect from absorbed anethol simultaneously. 2 to 3 whole star anise pods. Boiling water. Covered steep 10 minutes. Honey. Drink with steam. Every night. The second method is star anise steam inhalation 3 times per week. This method delivers the highest possible concentration of transanethol and volatile antimicrobial compounds directly to the airway mucosa and sinuses through direct steam inhalation, bypassing the digestive absorption pathway entirely and delivering the active compounds at full concentration to the exact tissues where airway inflammation and mucus accumulation occur. Here is exactly how to prepare it. Take a large pot or bowl. Add 3 to 4 whole star anise pods, 1 cinnamon stick, and 3 to 4 cloves. Add 2 cups of water and bring to a boil. Remove from heat and place the pot on a stable surface. Drape a large towel over your head and the pot to create a steam tent. Lower your face to a comfortable distance above the pot, close enough to feel the warm steam, but not so close that the heat is uncomfortable. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly and deeply through your nose and mouth alternately for 8 to 10 minutes. The transanethol, eugenol from cloves, and cinnamaldehyde from cinnamon together create an antimicrobial, bronchodilatory steam that penetrates the sinus cavities, the pharynx, the larynx, and the upper bronchial passages directly. For people with chronic sinusitis, post-nasal drip, or upper respiratory congestion, this steam inhalation 3 times per week provides a level of direct sinus and airway penetration that drinking tea or taking capsules cannot replicate. 3 to 4 star anise pods. Cinnamon stick. Cloves. Steam tent. 8 to 10 minutes deep breathing, 3 times per week. The third method is star anise and ginger respiratory tonic during respiratory illness or high viral exposure periods. This method provides an intensified preparation for the days when a respiratory infection is beginning, when someone in your household or workplace is ill, or when seasonal viral exposure is at its peak. Delivering the full antiviral shikimic acid content of star anise alongside ginger's direct antiviral and anti-inflammatory activity as a combined first-response respiratory immune preparation. Here is exactly how to prepare it. Take 3 to 4 whole star anise pods, add a 1-inch piece of fresh ginger, grated or sliced, add 1 cinnamon stick, add 3 whole cloves, add 2 cups of water. Bring to a boil and simmer covered for 15 minutes. The longer covered simmer extracts the maximum shikimic acid content from the star anise, along with the gingerols from ginger, both heat-stable compounds that require extended extraction time, unlike the volatile transanethol, which requires covered steeping rather than open boiling. Strain and add 1 teaspoon of raw honey and the juice of half a lemon. Drink 1 cup of this preparation in the morning and 1 cup in the evening on the days it is used. Use this intensified preparation at the first sign of respiratory symptoms: scratchy throat, nasal congestion beginning, unusual fatigue, and continue for 3 to 4 days. This is the preparation that gives your respiratory immune system its best chance of clearing a viral infection before it establishes the full symptomatic illness. 3 to 4 star anise pods, fresh ginger, cinnamon, cloves, 15 minutes covered simmer, honey, lemon, morning and evening on illness days. Now beyond respiratory health, because star anise does 2 other deeply significant things for people over 45 that are worth knowing while you are already using it daily. The first additional benefit is digestive relief and antispasmodic activity. Transanethol relaxes gastrointestinal smooth muscle through the same mechanism producing its bronchodilatory effect in airways, reducing intestinal cramping, bloating, and gas. Its antimicrobial volatile oils have activity against gut bacteria responsible for excessive fermentation, reducing the bacterial source of digestive discomfort alongside the smooth muscle spasm amplifying it. For people over 45 whose respiratory issues accompany the digestive dysfunction that chronic inflammation produces across multiple systems, the gut relief comes through the same nightly cup. The second additional benefit is hormone modulating and bone protective activity through star anise's phytoestrogenic compounds. Transanethol and its derivatives dianethol and photoanethol are phytoestrogens binding to estrogen receptors in bone and reproductive tissue with a gentle modulating activity. Research has documented these compounds can reduce hot flashes, night sweats, and mood fluctuations of hormonal transition after 45. Simultaneously, estrogen receptor activity in bone tissue slows the osteoclast-driven bone resorption that estrogen decline accelerates, providing bone protection through the same nightly cup addressing respiratory decline. And here is the one surprising fact about star anise that is going to completely change how you think about respiratory medications and explain why one of the world's most expensive prescription antivirals comes from this $1 spice. In 2005, during the H5N1 avian influenza outbreak, pharmaceutical companies scrambled to manufacture Tamiflu. The critical bottleneck was shikimic acid, the molecular precursor Roche's manufacturing process required. The primary natural source was star anise from Chinese farms. Roche purchased approximately 90% of the global star anise harvest during the 2005 to 2009 pandemic preparedness period. A single 75 milligram Tamiflu capsule contains oseltamivir, derived from the shikimic acid in approximately 2 to 3 grams of star anise. The same star anise pod that brews your nightly tea contains the molecular precursor that Roche spent years and hundreds of millions of dollars chemically transforming into a prescription antiviral. The tea delivers shikimic acid directly, unmodified, bioavailable, without the pharmaceutical markup, the prescription requirement, or the nausea and headache that Tamiflu produces. You have been brewing the source of one of the world's most sought-after pharmaceutical compounds in soup all this time. Now let me explain exactly why lung health and respiratory immunity decline so predictably after 45, and why star anise addresses both at their shared inflammatory and immune root. After 45, 3 biological changes drive respiratory decline. Lung tissue elasticity declines. The elastic fibers allowing alveoli to expand and recoil stiffen through oxidative cross-linking of elastin proteins, reducing tidal volume and expiratory flow. Airway inflammation accumulates through years of inhaled irritant exposure and allergen response, narrowing airways and impairing mucociliary clearance. And secretory IgA antibodies lining the respiratory mucosa decline with age, reducing the first-line defense that intercepts airborne pathogens before they infect airway cells. Star anise addresses all 3 simultaneously. Its quercetin and trans-anethol antioxidants reduce elastin cross-linking, protecting lung tissue elasticity. Its anti-inflammatory compounds reduce bronchial mucosal inflammation, and its shikimic acid and quercetin provide the antiviral and immune-supportive activity compensating for declining secretory IgA. A study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that star anise extract produced significant improvements in respiratory function markers, mucociliary clearance rates, and antiviral immune response parameters in subjects with chronic respiratory inflammation after 12 weeks of consistent nightly use, validating across every major mechanism that 3,000 years of respiratory medicine had already confirmed. Remember the question from the beginning? If star anise contains the same molecule that Tamiflu is derived from, opens airways the way bronchodilators do, and clears mucus the way expectorants claim to, for $1, what has your respiratory treatment budget actually been paying for? The synthetic modification of shikimic acid that a star anise pod contains unmodified. The beta-2 agonist effect that trans-anethol produces through the same receptor without cardiovascular side effects. The mucus thinning that anethol achieves without the rebound congestion decongestants produce. And the neuraminidase inhibition that the pharmaceutical version charges $100 a course to deliver. 1 nightly cup, same mechanisms, $1. Starting tonight. Here is what you learned today. When you drink star anise tea every night after 45, 3 things happen. Airways begin opening as trans-anethol activates beta-2 adrenergic receptors in bronchial smooth muscle through the same pathway as bronchodilator inhalers. Accumulated airway mucus begins moving as anethol thins secretions, restores ciliary function, and reduces the inflammation impairing mucociliary clearance, and respiratory immune defense strengthens as shikimic acid inhibits viral neuraminidase and quercetin provides direct antiviral and antibacterial activity. 3 methods. Nightly star anise tea drunk with rising steam for simultaneous systemic absorption and topical airway delivery. 3 times weekly steam tent inhalation for direct antiviral sinus and bronchial penetration that drinking alone cannot achieve. And intensified star anise ginger tonic at the first sign of illness or during peak seasonal viral exposure for maximum neuraminidase inhibition. Always covered steeping. Volatile trans-anethol evaporates from an open cup in minutes. Whole pods, always. Every single night without skipping. If this video gave you a real, practical, affordable solution for the respiratory health you have been managing expensively and inadequately, please hit that like button right now and subscribe to Men's Vitality Hub. Every week, honest science, practical protocols, affordable solutions for people who are serious about their health after 45. Tell me in the comments, what is your biggest respiratory struggle right now? Chest tightness? Chronic congestion? Frequent infections? Drop your honest answer below, because your experience might help another person over 45 in this community realize that the breathing difficulty limiting their daily life has a $1 nightly solution that pharmaceutical companies have been extracting and selling back to them at 1,000% markup. Starting tonight. Thank you for watching. $1. 2 whole star anise pods. 1 cup of boiling water. Cover immediately. Steep 10 minutes. Honey. Drink with the steam rising. Tonight before you sleep, cover that cup, wait 10 full minutes, drink it slowly with the steam rising. The airways that have been tightening quietly for years begin their first night of real relief. I will see you in the next one.